Welcome to Campfire Chronicles, episode 28. Here with me, I have...
I'm Robby.
Bryan.
If we need to introduce ourselves, no, I'm just kidding.
Okay. So we got Bryan, Robby, and Thomas. Before we start, let me just say, go to patreon.com/adventure and then sign up there, and you get cool stuff. Okay.
That's for all the people
episode.
who will listen on YouTube afterwards.
Yes, of course, yeah. So, I figured we could talk today about our trip to Land Between the Lakes and also just in general how we're all doing during these weird times. Maybe we can start with the latter since Thomas didn't go on that trip with us.
You guys can talk about anything.
Although, did you watch the episode yet, Thomas?
Nope.
Oh, well.
He'll have literally nothing to say about it.
I got nothing to say. There was zero preparation that happened for me right now. I didn't know this was happening. I didn't watch anything. I've just been sitting around playing Animal Crossing all day.
That's great.
That's fair.
We don't need preparation.
Okay, well then let's go into the current situation. So Thomas, are you doing classes online or are you out of school already?
No, I'm very much involved in classes right now. I got a few group projects. You know, it's basically like school, but all online.
Do people actually work hard or?
I mean, does anyone work hard their last semester of their master's?
I don't know. Never did a master's.
Let alone during quarantine. Like,
Yeah. I mean, we're getting
I mean, if
by.
I had a job lined up, like, what's the worst that could happen, you know?
Yeah,
Honestly, like,
I don't have a
fuck out.
thesis. Like, the thesis is get a job. That's the nice thing about, like, a quasi-professional degree like an MBA. I just, you know, it's like, okay, good job. You graduated. Go find a job.
Yeah.
Be businessy.
Which, we've been playing Animal Crossing, and Thomas's character is, like, the most business-oriented villager.
I saw like professional button down with a vest and stuff, and I wanted to buy it for Thomas in the game and send it to him.
I got
I
it.
think you...
Yeah,
he's
I
already
assumed
made
he
it,
already
yeah.
had it. So
Yeah, I got a purple one. I got a two-tone pants. I got these nice wingtip shoes. And then I come into your town. I buy the best. I find the best prices for turnips, and then I keep track of them for the next week. And then whoever has the best price, I give them a 5% cut of the profits.
Oh, I thought it was a 10% finder's fee. Now it's 5%.
Yeah, well,
Oh.
Andrew's at no percent now because he came into my town and raided it all. He's like, oh, you don't need any of this.
Next time Thomas comes to my village, if he doesn't leave enough money, then I just like put the thing in sleep mode before it saves. So really quickly for the patrons who are watching this live, we're probably going to take your questions towards the end of the episode, but maybe in between topics we'll take a few questions. But we're just not ignoring you. It's just for the flow of the podcast.
And you can post your questions. I'll keep track of them. I'll save them in a little chat here. We can always revisit them.
So what else has everyone been doing during the quarantine to maintain a semblance of normalcy?
So I'm still working from home full time. So besides the fact that I don't actually have to commute to work now, nothing much has really changed. I mean, there's still that whole thing where it's like you can't go out and do things as conveniently as you want to. But just getting outside every so often helps. So I would say not too much has changed except for the fact that, can't go shopping every 3 days now.
Yeah, it sucks, man.
Yeah.
I used to be the kind of guy who would I would go grocery shopping for like the next 2 days. I'd be like, oh, well, I want to make this, so I go and shop because the grocery store is like across the street. But now I have to think about buying things in advance for 2 weeks, 3 weeks worth of food.
Yeah, it's like I don't even know what I'm gonna do in the next hour.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to? I saw Robby's stream where he was talking about how he wanted like salty junk food.
Well, I've still been
the blooper stream.
I've still been making like lunch boxes, like little containers of food, just because I find it easier to buy, 2 or 3 things of chicken or whatever, and then cook it all in one way, and then like create meals. Just so I spend like 1 day a week cooking, and then the other 6 days I don't have to think about what I'm gonna prepare.
So when you're working, like from home, do you actually take a break for lunch and try to keep a regular schedule, or are you just kind of doing whatever you want?
Even when I was in the office, I didn't take a break for lunch. Usually, most of the time, I would say most of the time I would just heat up my lunch and then sit at my desk.
Oh,
Yeah. But obviously,
Well.
it's a little more laid back. You know, I can get up and do things. You know.
okay. Oh, actually, here's a question. Be honest. How hard are you actually working? Are you working just as hard?
Yeah. I still work just as hard because I don't like having that nagging feeling in the back of my mind, thinking like, oh, I have to get this done. I'd rather get it done at like that time rather than wait till the end of the day and be like, okay, well, I still need to get these things done.
Yeah, that's
Let's be honest here. I mean, this is a public stream, and people are going to be able to see this. Employers are going to be able to see this. So,
Brian's like, I'm working twice as hard as I normally do. Skipping lunch, skipping breakfast. It's actually kind of funny because we were working really hard to get this episode done, and now that it's done, I'm like, now there's nothing to do.
So now you're like, let's do a
Yeah.
podcast. Let's do live streams. Actually, the live streams are a lot of fun though.
Yeah,
We watched Mortal Kombat
Yeah,
last
it's
night
so-
without you guys.
Yeah. It's funny because I was like watching snippets of that last night too. But we've been putting on like public live streams for people just to help with cabin fever. But that's actually like super fun.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's basically the way you socialize now, right? You do it digitally.
Yeah. It's kind
Yeah,
of crazy how quickly, just like
It's a-
overnight, everybody adapted like immediately. Like, so I'm somewhat involved
Yeah.
in the group exercise fitness world, and just immediately overnight, everybody was doing Zoom classes. I mean, the audio quality is terrible, but they're still managing to do it.
So you're doing Zumba.
get out.
Robbie's like, wait, let me play the clip.
I played
Wait
it.
for you. Oh, okay.
You guys can't hear it, but I played it.
So it's funny. I've actually been doing like online kung fu classes and stuff, and it's like obviously a trade off because how can you learn to fight without a partner? I mean, you can work on stuff, but you can only go so far. But the plus side is I get to learn from this dude who is just like my instructor is like the chillest guy ever, and then his instructor who we're learning from is like the polar opposite, where he's like super active and like super geeky about all this stuff. And he learned from Ip Man's last private student. So there's like,
Oh, so you're learning from like the New York dude now,
yeah.
because
Which is
he's
pretty
doing
cool.
classes for everybody or something.
Yeah, and then on Saturdays he has these like just theory classes where he talks about like history and stuff. And I'm like, this dude knows more about Zhongguo than I do.
Zhongguo means China.
I was gonna say one more thing. The other day I got out to the park, which I actually haven't done nearly as much as I would like to. But it's funny that this is all happening during spring because like all the wild edibles are coming up, and I made like some pizza with like wild edibles.
Oh.
But it's like you go outside and the world is just like the natural world is carrying on as normal.
Oh yeah, it
Like-
doesn't care at all. Like you see
Yeah.
birds and like squirrels and stuff, they have no clue what's going on.
Which is like,
Go ahead.
okay. Oh, I was gonna say it's really similar to like a feeling I originally had when I first started backpacking, where like you get outside and you're just like kind of stunned by how different the natural world is from like all the going-ons of society.
I was gonna say that since I am going out less now, outside, you know, when we had these days, like a week ago or a week and a half ago, when we had these days that were like 60 degrees or 65 degrees, I was for literally until yesterday, my mind was still in that thought where this is just an anomaly this weather is an anomaly. I'm expecting it to go back down to 35 degrees or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
And then I looked at the weather for the next 2 weeks and I was like, no, wait, this is spring. Spring is here. Like the world is still moving outside.
Yeah, it's so bizarre, especially because spring is like such a hopeful season, and I don't know. I'm glad I'm not in the southern hemisphere right now. I'll say that. But
Well, I'm sure the Southern Hemisphere is glad you're not there either. you jerk.
where did Robbie go?
Huh? No, I'm still here. I was
okay.
I was tweaking the stream a little bit. I've been changing the camera angle and stuff. I don't know if you guys seen that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty fun. It's like a live TV production. Yeah, so I guess we're all just doing our thing. You know, I guess not that much has changed for me other than I can't go to the grocery store every day like I normally do and just satisfy random urges like, ooh, like I mean, you guys know about my ice cream sandwich thing recently. But just like normally if I have a temptation like that, I'm just like, well, going to the store, getting an ice cream sandwich. But now I'm like, no, I can't go yet. So.
Yeah.
You know what's one thing I've gotten into lately? And this is something I've been wanting to. I did a little bit before, but I've been starting to watch a lot more Twitch streams just to have like something on in the background.
Oh, yeah. I think that's like a big appeal of Twitch in general is just it feels like you're hanging out with people virtually.
Yeah.
Even before any of this happened.
So one of the things I found, and I got lucky because one of my, I guess you could say friends, my friends recently started streaming herself paint, and she's like a super good artist, and she does a lot of what is it called? Not still images, live. Still life. Andrew, help me out here.
Oh, still life.
Yeah, she does a ton of still life, but she's doing still life of like expired food, and in the background is Yosemite. And so I saw that, I'm like, oh, I didn't know you'd stream. So I've been watching her all day, and it is painfully slow how much detail she puts into each. Her stuff is hyper realistic. Anyway, like for 6 hours a day, she's only kind of done like one Tupperware container.
Wow.
But you know, she's really engaging to watch and everything. I think I posted it somewhere on YouTube. Anyway, so I'm learning about how people do hyper realistic paintings.
Nice.
Yeah.
So wait, it's like rotting food, but in Yosemite.
Yeah. Hey, I'll give her a shout out if it's all right to you guys. What's her Twitch? It is Masama Sam, MASAMA _ SAM. Hang on, let me see if I can post this in the chat. I think she's got.
Yeah, it's been
Anyway,
it has been fun doing those sorts of streams though. Like the other day, Thomas did a Adventure Archives radio stream. And it's like just having something online where you can have like virtual companionship is super fun.
Yeah.
But we might make the radio thing a regular feature on our Patreon.
Yeah, I think you should do that all the time, Thomas. That'd be great.
You like that?
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
Well, that's it for Weekly Ways, episode 20.
I was gonna say, do we have an outline for this thing? Otherwise, people are gonna be like shaking their heads like,
yeah, we do. Well, I figured we could also talk about. Well, maybe we can take like 3 questions right now and then switch to another.
That's perfect.
Since
brilliant.
nobody wants to talk about the quarantine. Yeah.
I got a question. What questions do our patrons even have for us? I feel like I
thought you were keeping track of that.
I mean, like I'm just saying in general. I have been looking, but. Like these guys are such good regulars. These guys and gals are such regulars. They know more about us than we know about each other at this point.
Well, really? Well, let's just shout out some people. We got Jason Bourgeois. We got John Truitt.
Bourgeois.
Who apparently is related. Is that not how you say it?
It's bourgeois.
Oh.
The bourgeoisie.
I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce French words. Bourgeois. Yeah, we got Randy Lay, Dennis Yo, Xing Xiang, Aaron Jones.
Yeah, we had another one. I don't know if we mentioned it, but Liana Lehua said, "Aloha, everyone, new patron here. I guess she might be in Hawaii."
And James Blackburn is in the house, as well as BJ Rodriguez. Randy Lay says he's seen Robby in the shower a couple of times. We won't get into that.
John Truitt was talking about a Patreon supporter get together after all this COVID-19 stuff is passed.
Yeah, that'd be great. I really hope this blows over super fast. So maybe we should talk about the Land Between the Lakes trip and just what you all thought of that. And Thomas could just keep track of the chat still.
Easily my favorite trip. Let me tell you guys.
So actually,
why don't we start with why Thomas wasn't on this trip?
Yeah.
Because the original plan was that we were all going to go on a trip.
and then I bailed.
So I think there was just some confusion, right? And then you just...
There was no confusion.
It's like I just didn't want to go.
Two things. I just forgot that was happening, and I bought a ticket to LA. And then I was like, I kind of want to see the Grand Canyon more than I want to go hiking in the cold.
It wasn't cold, though. It was actually really nice.
It ended up being a really great trip, I guess, but
the
Grand Canyon's still kind of,
So did you actually hike into the Grand Canyon?
Yeah, I went down.
Like
I
the
didn't
rim,
go,
rim trail, or?
I went, no, I mean, part of the rim to rim trail. I didn't go down to the river all the way. I'd say I went a little bit like 2/3 of the way down, and then it started raining, and I'd been driving for about 6 hours, 7 hours that day, hiked probably 4 or 5 hours once I got there. So I was pretty pooped.
Yeah, I know you just said you didn't do it, but I've heard the rim to rim trail is super hard.
I don't think it's as hard. I can't imagine it's that hard because I've gone down and I've gone back up now, and I mean granted it's 6,000 feet down, 6,000 feet up. That's not easy, but
maybe it depends like when you go, like in the summer when it's hotter.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
That might be it. Because I know actually my friend Jess, who is in he's in some of those, or in that Hawaii side video we released recently, but he's backpacked the rim to rim with his dad before.
How many miles?
I want to have him on an episode sometime. I don't know actually, but I think it's the elevation change.
It's 22 miles with 6,000 feet elevation change.
Oh wow, okay.
But like that's Mount Whitney, except like inversed, if that makes sense, because you go down first.
Oh yeah,
and then you hike. But the thing is, once you get down there, it's more or less flat.
Wait, was Whitney 11 miles one way also?
Yeah, 11 miles one way, 6,000 feet.
Why are all these trails 11 miles one way? Like the Kalalau is also.
I don't know.
That's a good question. Yeah.
Some weird cosmic.
Wait, so you can backpack in the Grand Canyon?
Yeah. It's huge.
Do they have designated
like
campsites, or can you just camp anywhere?
Yeah, tons.
Isn't there like a cabin or something that you can stay in too?
There's tons of cabins. I mean, do you guys remember going to the Grand Canyon?
It's been a long time.
It's like the size of a state.
I've only done one of those helicopter tours while I was in Las Vegas,
Oh.
so I didn't actually get to hike any of it.
Yeah, it's like the size of like a state.
Wait, when were you in Las Vegas?
In high school, went there for a week or a weekend.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Saw Blue Man Group. It was cool.
Thomas Way says that is funny. A lot of trails I'm looking at hiking or have hiked in the Smokies are 11 miles. We're gonna get some sort of like missing 411 comment. It's like that's what the 11 and the 411 has meant all along. But yeah, so Grand Canyon. Thomas went there instead of hanging out with us. But as for the rest of us, what did we think of Land Between the Lakes?
That was the best meal we've ever had, I think.
Oh yeah, the stew.
Yeah, so maybe spoilers for the people who haven't seen it yet, but it's been up for a whole day, so I'm spoiling it. Nicole made this amazing stew, and just, oh man, there was plenty of it, so we all got plenty of food. God, it was great.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just because like Nicole is a cheerful person or because she always cooks like really good food, but whenever we have a trip with her, I'm like, I feel a lot less worried that something is going to go wrong. And so far, nothing has.
She's definitely the kind of person who wants to make sure she has everything. I've gotten into that state of mind where I will have everything I need, but then there's a point where I'm like, okay, well, do I really need this? Do I want to save on the weight? So every time Nicole and I are like packing our bags and stuff, I'm like, do you really want to bring a whole box of wine? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, then. And then
Nicole's
eventually
like,
I feel guilty, so I help her carry some stuff. But I mean, she's doing like this amazing cooking, so I think it's only fair.
Nicole is like a traveling merchant. Like in Grayson Highlands, she had like a Frisbee and a deck of cards.
Yeah.
And it's like we were at that the shelter on the third night. And Robbie was like, oh, we should play cards. It's too bad we don't have any. And Nicole just happened to have them. And
yeah.
It's like,
it's very different mindsets between her and us, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
In terms of the necessities for camping. I don't know if necessities is the right word, but she likes to have so many different things. And I think for us, we've experienced like, heavy rain and canoe tipping and things like that. We're at the point where we're like, we want to minimize the things that we can.
Yeah. Especially with a lot of the uphill hiking and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which I guess. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say Nicole is just like a pleasure to have on the trip. Just like super positive, never complains, brings a bunch of great food. It's just like an amazing addition to the crew.
Yeah. Yeah, it's too bad you were at the Grand Canyon.
I was waiting for you guys to say, unlike some other people who join us.
No, it is too bad though. Because actually originally we were going to be going to Dolly Sods with Thomas. And I still would love to do that. Like, I don't know. It's weird because it's the perfect season right now, but it's also like, should we all get together in a car? Like, probably not.
No.
But
no.
Man, it would be fun.
I was thinking that we should do solos during the quarantine. Because is there any more socially distant thing to do than do a solo? And it doesn't have to be anything grand. Just do like an overnighter somewhere. We could even do it all at the same time and make it into one video. Ooh, that'd be kind of cool.
We could call each other or something.
Oh man, that'd be awesome.
Are the parks even open at this point? Because I know a lot of these national parks are closing.
Yeah, I think some of them are closed.
Yeah, Hugging Hills closed recently, apparently.
Yeah.
But like the metro parks are all open, and then
yeah. But my problem though is whether or not they're actually open. It's like these parks are closing for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just not understanding the whole reason why some parks are open and others are. But
well, I think it's probably based on traffic. So like if you're going to have a bunch of people congregating, they want to close it. But if it's like, Dolly Sod's wilderness backpacking, it might be okay. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, that's just a thought. We could also do stealth camping at the airport.
What?
One of that video.
Wait.
Video.
You know what I'm talking about?
I recommended.
Yeah.
That guy recommended to me too.
Yeah, me too. I added that to my watch later because I wanted to watch it.
I skimmed through it. It's pretty funny.
I watched it. Yeah, it's funny, but there's not much else to see besides the guy in a car.
Just the one part where he's like waiting for the security car to come by, and he's like, "Uh-oh," and then it goes by, and it's fine.
Yeah,
that's funny that he can get away with that because like there's so much stuff that we make sure we do super legit so that we don't get in trouble. But
yeah.
I've always thought it'd be so fun to like do something like that, like sleep out in your car somewhere. I mean, I guess we've sort of done that, but.
Not on purpose. Yeah.
Right.
It's always been not by our choice.
Yeah, I've told this story before, but there was one spring break in college where I just like stealth camped in patch of woods, like in the middle of a residential neighborhood, because I really wanted to go backpacking.
Like the dead middle of winter, and was this
like early March? But
well, we're talking about Ohio.
Yeah.
And it got down to like freezing, so I actually drove out at midnight and like walked through this little area looking for him, and I gave him like extra blankets or something. I don't remember what I did, but I was like,
I don't remember either.
Okay, out here.
Lousy March weather.
But I had like my little tarp set up with like some wood piled up and like a little campfire. Those were good times,
man.
Which actually, I mean, kind of going along with that sort of like nostalgic early spring Midwestern weather is like, I think, is what made this trip in LBL so appealing. It's like you're out there and it was good weather. It wasn't cold, but like the sort of scenery where it's still kind of barren and the forests are still like opened up, but you see the first signs of spring and like the birds chirping and stuff. Like I love that weather, man.
Oh yeah. Let me ask you guys.
It seems bland.
Go ahead.
But, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask you guys a question. It's only semi-related. Do you guys get the feeling lately that the trips aren't long enough? Like after the trip, do you feel like, man, I could have gone like another 3 days?
Yes.
Yeah,
and
for
no,
some of them, for
kind
sure.
of.
Yeah.
I think the better a trip is during the trip, the more you would want to just keep going.
Yeah, that's probably it, actually.
Because like Pictured Rocks was great. I mean, well, so when you and I did Pictured Rocks, Robbie, I'm sure after that day of just raining, like if it had just continued raining for the rest of the week, we would have just been, so done.
Yeah,
but I think, even though we were tired by the end of the trip, I think we both wouldn't have mind being out there more,
Yeah. Oh, well, maybe also part of it is I just feel like it just feels too short. Like I feel like we go on a trip for a weekend and then that experience is so fleeting. Like it's just there and it's over. And then all I have is the memory of it and it just feels like this distant blip,
Well, I feel like a lot of times with stuff like that, time feels both long and short at the same time. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
There's moments where you're like, wow, it's still only like the second day, and then there's other times where you're like, oh wow, it's already the second night.
I think it's kind of a weird phenomenon because the last trip we did at Land Between the Lakes, I'm thinking about it and I'm thinking, man, it would have been nice to stay at that first campsite longer and things like that. And then I think about Allegheny, which was also a fantastic trip in terms of weather and the campsites, and we did spend a lot of time, at the campsites, but then towards the end, I think everyone was definitely ready to be done. So I don't really know what would kind of like cause that feeling of either wanting to be done or wanting to keep going.
I feel like a lot of it does have to do with the conditions, because I'm thinking like, man, like Minister Creek, Grayson Highlands, Shawnee Forest, all great trips that I really enjoyed and felt like I could have kept doing. But Adirondacks, I was so worn out during that trip.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, that was about 2 days too long.
Well, that's funny because that's how I felt about Hawaii. Like, as cool as Hawaii was, I was just like, I was ready to go home. Way too soon. But I think a big part of that, too, is that we didn't get to do the initial trail that we wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like, because we went to that island with the intent of hiking that trail, but outside of that, it's like the more touristy stuff. I mean, there were a lot of cool hikes we did, obviously, but
yeah,
as far as like the places to eat and stuff, it's not as good as the other islands. From I mean, my very minimal experience, but I'm actually hoping that when I edit these other side videos from my 2015 trip there, you guys get to see some of that, because like there was some amazing Hawaiian food and like there was a really cool trail we hiked in Maui. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, how adaptable do you guys consider yourselves?
In terms of
everything. Like when a wrench gets thrown into your plans, do you feel like you're adaptable? I mean, I have an opinion on how adaptable everybody is, but what do you feel like yourself is? And I can tell you my opinion first, and then you can. If you want.
So okay, let me take a step away from my microphone. So I don't know how much merit you guys put in a bunch of these, what's it called? Society traits? No, social interaction studies. But there's a lot of research done in business school as to like trying to figure out what type of leadership style people have, or, what's your overall performance. And you guys are not going to believe it, but relative to most people, first off, I want to say, relative to most people, you guys are absolutely crazy. You guys, all three of you guys can adapt to anything. But
that's funny you should say
in
that.
business, but in business school, it's that's been one of the consistent traits that's kind of come up in a lot of these tests. Is I need inconsistency. I need kind of things coming out of nowhere, because otherwise I just get a little bit too complacent and nothing happens.
Oh, interesting.
You guys wouldn't believe that based on how stressed I get, but I love that kind of stress.
That is really fascinating. I have an answer, which is that I feel both very adaptable and not at all adaptable at the same time. Maybe it depends on what I'm adapting to, but it's like, like I'll travel for like a weekend and then struggle for the week to like get back into my workout routine. And I'm like, this should not be disrupting me this much, just because I'm like, I think I just like don't have enough mental discipline sometimes, and I give into the temptation of like not keeping up with routines.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I can sleep like under a tarp in a thunderstorm and I don't feel that bad about it. Like, so I think it's like when the adaptation takes like no effort, then I can do it. And by that I mean like I do intermittent fasting, and it's like it's easy for me to do because all I'm doing is literally nothing. Like, but whereas like doing something that has kind of the same goal in mind, which is like fitness or whatever, but where it's proactive, like exercising, it's a lot harder for me to like push myself to do that. So I think there's like something there, but.
Well, I was just going to say that I feel like Bryan and Andrew, you guys are supremely adaptable. Like you guys can go with the flow in any situation. Me and Thomas are not adaptable. I am slightly more adaptable than Thomas in lots of situations, especially in camping situations. But like, I feel like we just like, if it doesn't go, for me personally, if it doesn't happen the way that I think it should happen, even if the result is the same, I still get thrown off.
You know, I will say something that does upset me a lot is when we have like, not us, but like when I have like a plan of something I want to do that day and it like falls through. Like where you're looking forward to something and then it doesn't happen. But
Yeah.
Wait, Bryan, what's your answer though?
I think my adaptability definitely depends on the situation. And it depends on the comfort level, I guess, of the situation. So if for example, if we're hiking and camping, if something in the plan goes different to what we, had originally intended, I think I can adapt to that perfectly fine. If it's like for example, Shenandoah, when we went down the wrong trail or something, just stay calm, find out what we're going to do. But then if it's something where, like, if the weather is just terrible, I'll probably be the first to just be like, I'm miserable, and I hate this, and I want to go home.
Yeah, I got something to add to that. I feel like in situations where what's done is done, and there's no changing, it's happening no matter what. I can adapt like that because I understand that there's no other solution. It's like for the COVID business going on right now. I'm perfectly fine with this because I realize this is just what it has to be. This is how it is. This doesn't stress me out because this is just how it is. Everyone's suffering. Everyone's in the same situation. It's fine. But if we're in a situation where we do have an option, and like what Bryan said, if it's raining, if it gets too cold, if there's something where we're faced with a choice, then that's where I might struggle a little bit and be like, hey, we do have an option, and now I'm not sure if we're making the right option or not.
Yeah, that's true. If your hand is forced, it makes it a lot easier to adapt.
Really quickly, I want to ask our Patreon viewers to see what they think based on our videos. Like, which of us is most adaptable, or at least it's actually kind of funny you asked this because I've actually been thinking about this recently. I mean, I guess that's not that crazy because we're all adapting to this weird situation. But it's like, I don't know. There's moments where I'm like, why am I not able to like keep up with routines when the slightest thing is thrown off? But then it's like, well, I don't know. I'm fine. Like. I'm not getting my life that thrown out of order, but.
So did we have any questions in the chat?
I jotted some down, actually.
Just one quick one. Nicole, yes, she is a nurse.
How's Nicole doing now with all the...
Yeah, that is
I think she's fine. I don't think she's... I think her nursing responsibilities aren't targeted towards, like, sick people. It's, like, mentally ill people. So I don't know if she's actually dealing with COVID-19 on the front lines, but I mean, obviously she's still at risk just being a health professional. So,
we had a couple other questions. Corey Rast says, Andrew, I think you have a video about this, so forgive me, but do you have Rex for a good knife for around $50 to $60? I actually don't own a lot of knives, but the one I use is a Condor Bush Lore, although I've also modified it. But there's probably like a lot of good like Cold Steel or Spyderco knives out there that you could look into also. Like I would just look into a bushcraft knife and then one that has like a carbon steel blade. And then each of you guys have a favorite food for camping? And also which food is the most stomach filling but yet the lightest to carry?
Okay. All right. Let me chime in here. There is a scientific. There's a scientific solution to what you're asking, and this is the formula. You need something salty, you need something sweet, and then you need some water. So you want some.
Thomas has got his pretzels, gummy bears,
butter.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
What you want that butter snap pretzels, a big old bag of that. You want a lot of naturally flavored Welch's gummies.
No
in a
artificial
separate bag.
flavored.
Right. And then you want water. Now listen to me. This is the key. This is the important part. When you're hiking, sometimes you forget that you need to drink. So what you do is you eat that salt, you eat that those carbohydrates, and that makes you thirsty. And then you drink, and then you want more salt. So you eat and you eat the salt. You eat the salt, you drink. You eat the salt, you drink. But to end that all, what you have to do is you have to take a big old handful of gummies, shove that in your mouth, and then you're not looking for water anymore, and you're not looking for saltiness anymore. It ends it all.
That's the punctuation.
And then but then you got like a little bit of sugar rush. You got that sugar rush, so you can keep going, keep your energies high and keep going.
That's very fascinating.
Well, I mean, you're a super fast hiker, so I'm not going to argue with your.
Yeah.
Like your fuel sources seem to be working.
Well, I will say that nuts are like they have a lot of calories per pound. Like, I don't know, just a handful of nuts is like more than 100 calories already.
That's
so if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, the frustrating thing about nuts though is that they don't fill you up. Like they don't do anything for appetite. It's only actual calories.
Well, it's like a question. I think with trail snacks, you actually don't want to get your stomach filled up, but with an actual meal at night, I feel like dehydrated meals actually do a decent job. Or maybe like
those are pretty good. I would say that recently, I know Bryan started doing this too. We started just putting sandwiches in little Ziploc bags. That actually, I really like that because it's quick and easy. It's like you take out a sandwich and you know how much you're eating. So
and it tastes good too. Like a sandwich always is satisfying in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm getting hungry.
Well, on that note, do each of you guys have a favorite food for camping?
So if we're talking about, like, are we talking about snacks or meals? It's hard to say. I don't think I've ever really stuck to something that was a favorite per se.
Yeah, same.
I kind of like impulsively buy for my camping trips. I'll walk around a grocery store and I'll see something and I'll be like, oh, that looks, I want to try that. So this camping trip is my excuse to try that. Or sometimes I might just go with, tried and true beef jerky or whatever. So
yeah, I'm pretty much the same. Like,
it's hard.
Yeah, every time a camping trip starts and I'm going to shop for food, I'm like, how have I not nailed down like a set camping food? Like every time I'm like, what am I going to get? So I don't have.
That's kind of the fun of it, though. Well, kind of.
Yeah, I guess there is an aspect of it that's fun.
We have the communal answers to who's adaptable. Jason Bourgeois says Andrew. James Blackburn just says we all seem adaptable. Thomas Way says Andrew always looks for the silver lining. Is that true? I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, that's annoyingly true.
Oh, okay. Andrew and Bryan seems more adaptable. Thomas seems the least likely. And then John Truitt says Andrew. Dan Vulcan says Andrew.
Yeah, okay. Then it comes across on camera pretty well. Then
I guess so.
Let's be honest though. The reason Andrew is most adaptable is because Andrew, you always just end up having. That's just years of practice.
It's like
okay. I guess we're doing this now.
If you throw me into like a shareholder boardroom or something, then I'm completely out of place. Well, actually, there is some
robo
like
Andrew.
Oh, what? Am I getting robo?
Yeah, roboing a little bit, but that's okay. Keep going.
Okay, well, I was going to say it's funny because Thomas, we joke about the boardroom thing, but actually that has come in handy during some of our trips. Like, Thomas is the one who is, like, on the front lines of, like, negotiating with hotels or whatever. or like, you know what I mean? Like, or planning the...
I hate doing that stuff, so I'm always glad when somebody else does it.
Yeah. Like, we each have a role to play,
Yeah.
I think I've said this before, but we really need to make a video game where each of us has a special ability.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you could like cycle through. It's like, okay, you got to switch over to Andrew to identify this flower. Now you got to go over to
That would be great.
to Bryan.
Yeah.
Be like the old Resident Evil co-op games where you have to switch between the two.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Sarah Piranio wanted to us to talk about water filtration. She says, I prefer gravity filter, but you guys pump. I mean, a gravity filter is great when you have a water source near like a campsite, in my opinion, because you let it filter as it hangs there. But I think for us, since we kind of are on the move, tend to filter on the move more often. I think the pump just gives us a little bit more flexibility.
I think we also just have never bothered to experiment with.
I was about to say that too.
That's true. Yeah. Like
we
like
just found
the one we have works, and we're just happy with it.
Yeah. Sometimes that's kind of
Really
nice
silly
when
reason.
you just find something that works and you don't think about if you can improve it. You're just like, this is good enough, and you just go with it.
Yeah.
But-
a couple other questions. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, but if there's better water filtration, then maybe we should experiment. But go ahead.
Couple other quick questions. John True asked why we didn't want to filter the lake at land between the lakes. I said it was okay because I had read that, but from minor, like I think Robby and Bryan weren't so sure because like
Seeing
we're
the
worried
level
about
of
like
pollution and the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
barges,
and, like the motorboats.
I would have been less. I mean, we if it had been it hadn't been like a dry moment, we would have had many more options to filter from running little streams.
Yeah.
And I think the lake would have been more of a last resort. Just because I think it's always a rule of thumb that if you can avoid it, don't filter from a lake where a lot of water sources congregate and there's a lot of civilization and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, that is a good rule of thumb for sure.
The water we
less bird
found
nest.
though was fantastic. Like that
Oh,
was
yeah.
really good water. It was crystal
Yeah.
clear and cold. I watched a YouTube video that got recommended to me on my homepage recently where this guy, he'll put a bunch of grass and water in a cup, let it sit for a week, and then he puts it under a microscope to look at protozoa, and he put them through a life straw, and it really works. Like when it comes through, there's no protozoa or bacteria or anything.
A funny story about that is that same channel did something like that a while ago, except they boiled the water. So after they made that video, I was like, oh, it'd be cool if we did that with like a water filter just to see that. And
And then he did it.
And then he did it like 3 years later, but
Yeah.
but we never had access to like a microscope or something that could actually look at it.
That video made me feel a lot better. Well, he didn't do our specific filter. So I'm going to hope
Right,
that our filter is as good, but sometimes I feel
Considering
like
that ours has held up for over 3 years, I think it's probably pretty good.
well, I mean, we've replaced the filter, haven't we? Yeah. Oh, it's still the same outside shell, but the filter inside. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I was always, because I don't actually know, I've always been somewhere in the back of my mind been like suspect of if it's actually filtering anything out. So I'm just going to hope that it works similarly to the life straw.
Someone said bring a carbon filter for heavy metals. It's funny. When I was in a survival class, he was saying, so like there's this whole survival idea of like, oh, create your own filter with like grass and then sand and then like charcoal from the fire. And charcoal is probably still different from like the carbon and filters, but he was saying all the charcoal does is actually just make it taste good. Like it doesn't actually remove anything that's that dangerous.
Oh, interesting. Well, I have a carbon filter that I just use at home. And that's supposed to be able to filter out even food coloring.
The carbon is probably different from just charcoal, even though they both have carbon in them. There's probably people conflate the two. I don't know though. Actually, I wanted to ask the group, the Patreons, what the patrons rather, what RPG class we would each be if we were like if we made an Adventure Archives video game.
Oh, yeah. Well, what would
Actually,
the
that'd be
classes
fun to-
be?
What would the classes be?
We should talk about what an Adventure Archives game would look like because like we're in the quarantine, we're looking for indoors things to do.
So I actually pitched for my entrepreneurial finance class an Adventure Archives video game. And let me see if I can find the pitch somewhere here.
Well, there'd be like scout. Thomas would be the scout.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's each say what class we would think we were, and then what we think the others would be. But let's just say our own first. Like, I feel like I would be a druid or something.
I don't even know what they are.
I'd be like
Just think Lord of the Rings.
arithmetician from Final Fantasy Tactics or something. Somebody who like archives stuff.
I feel like I would be
Oh, I know what Brad was.
some sort of. Well, I don't. I know people probably say bard,
Oh, okay.
but I don't bring an instrument on the trail.
He's the bribarian.
I feel like I'd play. Well, okay, so going back to the point that Thomas was talking about, how everyone has kind of like a different leadership quality or whatever. We did this thing at my job where you were supposed to. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I guess you answered certain questions, and then there was like a grid, and there was like 4 quadrants, and depending on what quadrant you were in and how far in, that was kind of like how your kind of role. And for me, it was the quadrant was like the support, and I was like, this is so accurate because I love playing support roles in video games. I love playing healers, so I feel like I would be some sort of medic support role, you know, because I'd be the person that'd be like, don't do that. Don't do that. You get away from that cliff edge.
I could see that.
Yeah.
You know, there's that leadership video I'm sure you guys have seen where that dude's dancing at that music festival, and then a crowd forms around him, and then it's like a huge bunch of people. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like something that's super underrated. Is everybody's always like, especially in America, we're always like, oh, individualism, leadership, and you got to be the one. But the people who follow you and back you up, like that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
And you should be supporting each other, you know?
Believe it or not, there's a lot of people out there with PhDs in leadership. And one of the things that we're talking about in my leadership class, because I'm in an advanced leadership.
PhD? Shaquille O'Neal? He's got something like
Maybe.
that.
Hold on.
Anyway, I'm in an advanced leadership class, and one of the theories, one of the things that I really like is this mentality of a server leader. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. What's a server?
Okay,
leader?
Andrew's frozen. Oh, it's someone who granted they are a leader, but their purpose is to serve everyone below them, get them to the point where they can all operate and work, have satisfying work, make them feel empowered, make them feel like what they're doing is contributing to some greater purpose, and making sure that they have the resources they need. Rather than like a leader that says, okay, we're going to go over here and you're going to do exactly what I say. Said, okay, our team has to go over there, and I'm going to make sure I can give you guys everything you need, everything you want to get over there. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A facilitator, basically.
Exactly. But, their job is to inspire, to empower, all that stuff.
So,
All those buzzwords.
Think outside the box.
So BJ Rodriguez said Bryan would be a bard, and then Andrew would be a botanist. Les Bird said Andrew would be an apothecary. Sarah Piranha said Andrew was an herbalist.
Andrew's moving away from druid and more towards like a monk. He's like in tune with nature, but he wants to beat something up too at the same time if he gets the opportunity.
It's funny because that's actually I did like 2 D&D campaigns that then I stopped doing. But in the first one I was a druid, and in the second I was a monk.
Right on the nose there.
I would be like a jester or like a fool.
John Truitt says Andrew Ranger. Dan Vulcan says totally see that, Bri, about your support character. BJ said Thomas is the scout for sure. And then Aaron Jones said Andrew would be the soldier, Robby would be a Jedi weapon master, Bryan would be the Jedi counselor, and Thomas would be the Jedi watchman. Also,
Jedi
Thomas,
RPG would be great.
Have you read Love Works by Joel Manby? John Truitt is asking.
Let's see.
Barb says I think of Robby as more of a bard, which is kind of like in the same genre as Jester, I feel like.
Yeah. Just entertainer.
Content creator. Well, okay, so if we had an Adventure Archives video game, now that we more or less have our classes sorted out, what do you think the game would be like? Like, what would you want an Adventure Archives game to be like?
Oh, okay. Can I chime in real fast?
Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't able to find exactly my my pitch, but the idea was it kind of followed something similar to Pokemon Go. And the idea is that you can go to different parks and you can unlock levels for those parks. You got to customize your own character, and then you had the four of us as kind of support characters, and each of us would kind of have our own toolkits, our own abilities. But let's say you go to Red River Gorge, and you know the background is all kind of 16-bit or 32-bit. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's designed just like Red River Gorge, and you can unlock it by actually going there and unlocking, like finding the Easter egg, if you know what I mean. Or you could actually buy it if you're not able to visit it personally. And so it's just kind of like a platformer. I didn't really think about the game mechanics per se. I was thinking more about like you go to Yellowstone and suddenly you get the Yellowstone level, or you go to I don't know, Dolly Sods, you get the Dolly Sods level, but you get to customize your own ability.
Have I talked about on Adventure Archives the Pokemon Go-esque idea me and Brian had before Pokemon Go existed?
Oh yeah, that was brilliant. You haven't talked about it, but talk about it.
So this was the idea was like you would have this game on your phone, and when your phone's like in your pocket, it has a pedometer, and you go like walking outside. And when you get back home, you turn it on, and it retraces your path, and then it pulls in like data from Google Maps of like certain locations. And if you like, as you're walking around, you encounter random enemies and you like fight them like afterwards, like a role-playing game. And if you walk by like an actual store in real life, that registers as like a potion store or like a armor store in the actual game. So like you could even have like supermarkets be like general stores, and then like bars be like potion stores or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so like as you're retracing your path that you just walked, you like can buy stuff at those stores. And if you're like going through a park, then you go through like a forest in the game and stuff. And we had this as an idea of like something to get people up and moving, but still like be able to like customize their character and like build up their character and stuff.
And the further you walked, the more chances you had for encounters. So like it would encourage you to walk more to get more experience from fighting things. And then other people who were playing this game, if they were walking around, every so often, like along their route, that location would be saved in the game or whatever. So if somebody else walked by that location, they could fight you or something like that.
Okay, I think I have come up with the ultimate idea. Think Zelda 4 Swords, only also each character has different abilities. So like not only are you doing the different, like you guys played 4 Swords on GameCube?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Like where you can do like the different configurations, like some blocks you need 4 people, some blocks you need 3 people, some blocks you need like 2 and 2. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But also each character has different abilities. So like Andrew's ability is like he can cut down trees or whatever. So like you use Andrew to solve some puzzles, you use Brian to solve some puzzles, and then you use all the different people together to solve other puzzles.
God, that'd be so cool.
Somebody go make that.
Well, it's funny too because like we've always talked about how we want like a nice multiplayer game to play.
Oh,
but it's still
kind of like
exactly, yeah.
If you guys have at least seen or played Stardew Valley, I could see it being in that sort of style. Except 4 players with different abilities.
Oh, have you guys played Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time or whatever?
No.
I haven't played it, but basically the concept is you have to multiplayer together operate a starship. So like everybody has to do different things, but you have to do it together to actually operate the ship. Something like that would be cool too.
Speaking of that, did they ever improve the Star Trek VR game? Because I know we all have that.
Oh, that's a Quarren stream right there.
Why don't we do that? I still got that on my computer.
We're definitely doing that.
I got a much faster computer now too.
Quarantine it up, baby.
I think the problem though is just it was really awkward, like moving your fingers around without VR.
Yeah.
Oh right. Yeah.
There also isn't really too much to do in that.
Yeah.
We were just terrible at it as well.
Well, there probably is quite a bit to do. We're really bad at it, as Thomas just said.
True. Yeah.
Man. Yeah. So BJ Rodriguez asked if we have any experience making games. Not really, but man.
No. Yeah.
I feel like that's like the alternative universe version of what we would be doing.
Yes. Yeah. Totally. Actually, I feel like that's something that will happen eventually. Just
somehow it feels like that. Right?
like I feel like game engines and game making has to progress to a point where idiots can do it. And once it gets to that point, then we'll make a game. But
Well,
like
there's already
now,
that. Isn't there already that Dream game or whatever?
Oh, Dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. anything about it.
Maybe we should look into that.
Yeah.
It's like Samuel Clemens. I was watching that episode today, actually. Oh, I got a question for everybody. What is your comfort food TV show or thing that you've been going to during these trying times?
I don't have the luxury of a comfort food right now. I have necessary food.
No,
I
not
didn't,
like
I didn't mean real
not food.
Yeah, I meant like viewing. Like for me, I've been watching Next Generation like nonstop.
Oh,
And you're like, man, wouldn't it be great if we lived in a utopia?
where you can just generate food out of thin air.
Yeah. Ice cream sandwiches, please.
I've been watching Curb Your Enthusiasm because I got access to a friend's HBO Now account.
Is it Thomas's?
No, it isn't actually. But I kept seeing clips of that show, and it's like everything Larry David says feels like a combination of like the dialogue in Seinfeld between Jerry and George, and like all the clips on YouTube were hilarious. So I just kept wanting to watch that. But that's what I've been doing.
Nice.
That and like old '60s kung fu movies.
Yeah, I was going to guess that. I was like, do you just watch like kung fu movies all the time?
I watched one called Five Elements Ninja recently. It was pretty good.
I've been going back through Family Guy like the basic person that I am. But if I had a choice, I'd want to put on some Studio Ghibli movies.
Ooh, that's a good.
Those
One.
are good. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess the people that made Your Name came out with a new movie, and it comes out in May, but that's not ready yet.
Weathering with You, I believe it's called.
Yes. Have any of you seen it?
No, I haven't.
What is that about? Is it about like a teacher and student, or?
It's the same director as Your Name.
Okay.
Kimi no Naiwa.
Namawa.
Brian, what have you been watching?
I've been watching The Office, but not like intensely watching. It's more of kind of a background thing.
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm getting at. Yeah. What's your background show?
I want to catch up on Picard, obviously.
Yeah, have you guys finished Picard?
I did.
No. I haven't watched since we all watched together.
Well, because I'm gonna cancel my subscription pretty soon,
Isn't it
so you guys
free
gotta
anyway?
get on top of that.
Yeah, I gotta catch up on that then.
I thought it was
Well,
free.
yeah, but no, it's like free for 30 days, so you can watch the entire thing within 30 days.
Yeah, I'll do that soon. I got to catch up on Better Call Saul too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna cancel my account now.
What day is it?
It's Sunday.
Did I watch this week's Better Call Saul? I had to have. Man, it's like I've lost all track of time. I have no clue what day it is. Like, I normally don't have a clue what day it is, but this week or during this recent times, like, no clue.
Yeah, no, it's weird. It's like it's so hard to keep track of time. Like time and geography have no meaning anymore.
I saw this hilarious news report on. It's been floating around online, and they were like, "We're going to start in the middle of this epidemic. We're going to start with a new type of report. The report's called "What Day Is Today?" And it's like this huge opening intro, and then it's just the reporter in front of a huge screen and says it's Wednesday, and then it goes back to the closeout screen
real?
and everything.
That was like real?
Yeah,
Oh,
let me see if I can find that.
It's like Sesame Street. Like this is brought to you by the letter B.
That'd actually be good, like TikTok or Instagram content.
Yeah.
You just post every day and say it's Wednesday.
Or like a Twitter account.
Yeah.
yeah. There's a Twitter account.
The
Wednesday,
account's
my
called
dudes.
What Day Is It? Just every day.
There's a Twitter account that just has like, it's linked to like a webcam that, and it tweets every time like their cat goes inside or outside. And it's like Pepito is in, Pepito is out.
That's funny. Okay, so I think we've been going for go ahead.
I was gonna say I posted the video in the chat if you wanted to share that.
Okay.
It's not going to be copyrighted.
Also,
or anything,
yeah,
so.
we'll take some more questions for you guys at the end of this. So if you have any questions, go ahead and start posting them.
And while people are writing those, I'm just going to read off some of the patrons' guilty pleasure shows. So let's see. We got The Office and also Almond Roca Bark because he misunderstood the question the way I also misunderstood it. Old School Disney, thanks to Disney Plus. Adventure Archives videos and older Robby vlogs. That's the best answer. Next Gen and DS9. HBO Library is free right now, apparently. Wait, what is that?
Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of the HBO library that they just made free.
Oh, wow. Okay. Sanwar says, I'm tired of all the regular shows I used to watch and don't have patience to start anything. Brian, are you laughing because he just repeated exactly what I said?
Yeah. You were like, oh, HBO Library. What is that? And Robbie's like, oh, they made HBO Library free.
No, I
It's
said
like, oh, okay.
the HBO library.
I know.
Yeah.
It's just funny.
Someone said Walker, Texas Ranger, which makes me think of Conan. Murray Fisher says, It's Always Sunny, Arrested Development, and trying to finish JoJo. Aaron Jones says Scrubs.
I've started rewatching JoJo on Netflix too.
Sanwar 1 says, I was watching Yosemite for the 1,726th time earlier today.
Okay, you want me to play this video?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Why not?
I'm going to play it.
I think it actually happened here in Ohio.
Oh.
That's a Thomas joke right there.
That's funny. That tickles my pickle.
Yeah, so it's been about an hour, which is the regulated time that a podcast is allowed to be.
Well, this was a riveting podcast.
There's a 10-minute podcast with like Will Sasso and 2 other comedians, and they just stop at 10 minutes every time.
That'd be
it's
hard
all right.
to do.
It's
That's
not,
like there's some new app coming out called like Quibi where they're like doing 10-minute videos.
Oh, yeah.
And all the ads are trying to make people call like a short amount of time a Quibi, and like literally no one is ever going to do that. But
No one will ever do that. Yeah. I'm curious if the content will be any good, though. Because, I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
10 minutes is too long for pooping. Like, I'll watch something that's like 30 seconds while I'm pooping. But 10 minutes.
So is this supposed to be like a TikTok type of?
No, it's like
app or
professionally
something?
made content with like actual actors.
Oh.
Yeah, which is not a bad idea, but I don't know. It's like YouTube
Yeah.
exists, so
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, 10 minutes is too much for me to want to focus on.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. That's an interesting.
If I'm going to spend 10 minutes, I'm
Idea.
going to spend 30 minutes, you know? Well, not in every case, but you know what I'm saying. You see how I'm going.
Yeah.
All right, well, we've rambled on and no questions have come in. So, any concluding thoughts before we head out?
What are you guys having for dinner?
Oh, that's a good question.
Curry chicken.
I might like stir fry some cabbage with
Same thing
other
as
stuff.
yesterday.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything too exciting here.
Dude, I'm going to scrape the bottom of the pantry barrel. I found some gluten-free pancake mix. I'm going to try to make that, have some pancakes for dinner. I don't even know if I have the necessary ingredients, but we'll make it happen.
Oh, I don't have eggs, but I should make like a cabbage pancake bread thing. Man, my dinner yesterday was so great though.
What was it yesterday?
I got an exciting.
Oh, it was that pizza.
Oh,
It was like
yeah.
It was pizza with dough made like infused with wild ramps and other stuff.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, what were you going to say, Thomas?
I was gonna say I got some exciting news. I signed a lease in San Antonio.
Woohoo! Nice.
Yeah, it's happening. It's official. I'm moving there.
Dude, that means we're definitely going to have lots of Texas episodes.
Yeah.
Well, at least
Yeah,
one. We'll definitely go down
it'll
there at
be-
least once.
Texas Walker and Talker Ranger.
I am really excited about the apartment I'm going to be moving into. I'll send you guys some pictures later.
Sweet. Yeah.
Was
Love
Brian
to.
also saying something? I thought Brian was saying.
I don't think so.
Oh. Anyway, that pizza. It was this will redeem me for that one time, but it was ranch bacon, tomato, and then like these wild leaves from a Dame's rocket plant, which is supposed to be similar to arugula. So it's pretty fancy.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, and cheese, but that's obvious. Well, that is the conclusion to our riveting Campfire Chronicles episode 28.
Well, it might be better next time because we just need a little practice. You know what I'm saying? Like doing it on Skype is
We need
hard.
like an outline. We need an outline.
Well, Thomas, you're the one in business school, so
I'll do that.
You,
I'll do that.
You know
I didn't
how
know
to
this
use
was actually gonna
Microsoft.
be a
Usually,
podcast.
I mean, there was a loose outline.
a
It's
real
just
podcast.
usually I like podcasts where the conversation flows naturally, but clearly some of us are just robots who.
Tell you what we're gonna do next time. I'm monopolizing this conversation. I got some friends out in LA, and once a week we all come together and we present on something.
You giving me homework?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait
No,
a
I'm
minute.
shutting
You're
you
gonna
down
have to
now.
elaborate. You have to elaborate on what you're talking about because are you saying that your friends present to each other like? So I was.
Yeah.
Okay, explain.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, well, these aren't even my business school friends. These are my Hollywood friends.
Yeah.
So that's the surprising part. Yeah. So sometimes they talk about just something that they're interested in. It's just a good way to kind of come together. I mean, what are you guys doing these days?
No, well,
You're just sitting at home.
Working.
You're looking for some type of social
So
interaction.
you do like show and tell, basically.
Yeah, so show and tell about either something you're interested in, or it could be completely ridiculous. So someone last week talked about how
I want a PowerPoint presentation, at least 10 slides.
Yeah,
I mean,
so someone last week presented on how Toad and Yoshi were actually LGBTQ icons for Nintendo.
wait.
Oh, so it's like
I'm
like drunk PowerPoint kind of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like drunk PowerPoint. Yeah, sometimes they're serious, sometimes they're absurd.
wait. How did this start though?
They just did it. I don't know. Someone was like, yeah, you know what'd be funny is if we all kind of took 5 minutes and presented something just either serious or ridiculous, and we just get on Zoom and then we do it.
I was just watching the blooper stream Robby did, and there's the one blooper where like Thomas keeps asking questions, and Bryan is just like, Thomas, what's with you? And I no. I mean to be like, actually, I do like ideas like that. Like I like activities you can do at parties and like drinking game type stuff. But also, it's like the best podcasts that I enjoy are the ones where people have natural conversations that just like flow as if we
Yeah.
are actually human beings. But
It's so much easier in person though, because like when you're on Skype, it's like, oh, you go ahead. Oh no,
well, what are you doing? Well, what did you do today?
So my presentation last night I gave, it was about 20 slides. It was about...
I can't tell if you're joking or if you're serious.
No. Here, I'll share my screen.
Someone should read Sanwar 1's comment.
Here, wait, why don't I, can I share my screen? Let's see if I can pull it
Yeah,
up.
share your screen on Skype. I can pull you up. On
All right, let me see if I can get this. I was a little bit more intoxicated last night when I did
BJ
this,
Rodriguez
so-
says, "Can you guys do the Brady Bunch thing right now?" Wait, is that?
I don't know
like the
what
right
that
way? I
means.
gotta look this way. It's like where we all look at each other. It's like, oh, Brian's down there.
Oh,
Robby's
okay.
over there. Yeah.
Wait, this way.
Okay, can you guys see this?
I don't think so.
I shared my screen. Look at.
Oh,
I see
maybe
it
I
on
put the
Skype.
wrong one. Hold on. Let's see.
Can you guys see it?
I don't see anything.
Oh,
on
I see
Skype,
it now.
so-
I see it now. I see a big blue Skype
Okay.
symbol. You know.
Yeah, but I don't see actually any screen
Yeah.
in Skype.
Yeah.
You don't see any screen or anything?
Not in Skype, no.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
I do like the idea of doing something like that. I also, just in principle, think we should be able to carry a conversation.
No, dude, it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun.
No, I believe it.
Well, why don't? Well,
Because this conversation isn't the most riveting thing we've ever had.
I was gonna say we should say we're gonna do it, and then next week Thomas will be the only one with the presentation.
We just like heckle from the crowd, like.
Like, ah!
Oh,
Really, you guys can't see my screen here?
Nope.
No, it doesn't seem to be working.
Okay. Okay.
Anyway,
you know what
I
we'll
think
do
that
is like
about wraps it up for.
I was gonna say we're gonna do that, and then like someone's gonna have like a presentation like a Venn diagram of Jordan, Schlansky, and Thomas. I'm sorry, Thomas. But it was
It's an
like,
you know what? I'm gonna
activity.
screw you guys. I'm gonna have the best presentation next time, and our fans are gonna love it, and it's gonna be a perma thing now.
okay. Actually,
Don't worry. We'll love it too, I'm sure. I don't doubt it for a second.
on that note, Robby mentioned wasn't someone mentioning a D&D thing, like doing a D&D podcast? We could
Yeah,
actually
somebody said we should do that.
we could get like Adam roped in here and then have him do one for each of us.
Oh yeah, because
Like,
he's
that would
a
actually-
dungeon master.
Yeah. Burger King, where all Dragon Masters eat.
Okay, are we done here? Because I need to go eat.
Yeah. All right,
All right,
Andrew,
let's all
fire.
sign off and look for the humanity that remains in us. But thank you for listening to Campfire Chronicles episode 28. If you haven't seen it yet, our latest episode is up for early release, and it'll be out on April 18th. Go to patreon.com/adventure to sign up for that, and also watch us live stream every week if you are not tired of us yet. But either way, thank you so much for watching and or listening, and we'll see you next time.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, Andrew.
Robby doing?
Wait. So, Andrew, make it look like you're being choked. So go to your right.
Okay, I just stopped.
We lost
Is
him.
that okay?
You just what?
Oh, I
think
said
he
I
stopped
stopped
his-
my recording.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We're still
Yeah,
streaming
okay.
though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so make it look like you're being choked, but get all the way to the right side of your screen.
Yeah.
So it looks like I'm choking you. No, but you gotta look like I'm really.
Yeah,
choking
no,
you.
I'm just trying to see what's up.
It's pretty good. It was good. Where you were at? Okay, we're done here.